Starting the name of Allah, who is merciful and most beneficent. Dear students, today we are going to discuss the poem The Ties by Coventry Patmore. Before going with the explanation of poem, I would like to discuss the brief introduction of author. Coventry Patmore was an English Victorian poet and critic best known for his narrative poem about the Victorian ideal of a happy marriage. For example, the angel in the house. Petmore was employed in the British Museum upon the publication of his first book of poem in 1844. After the death of his first wife, the grief of loss became in great measure his late theme. Like many Victorians, Coventry Petmore was a deeply religious man who readily and sincerely associated the ordinary happenings of everyday life with the religious beliefs. The poem is an example of it. So, if we'll discuss the poem, so this is the introduction in which we can see that the association of religion. So, let's start the poem. The first stanza. My little son, who looked from thoughtful eyes, and moved and spoke in a quiet, grown up voice, having my law the seventh time disobeyed, I struck him and dismissed, with hard words and unkissed, his mother who was patient, being dead. So, the poem begins with the reference of the poet's son. The poet capitalizes the first letter of son for the sake of emphasis. The child looked at his father with thoughtful eye. Then he moved and spoke quietly, listening to him. It appeared to the poet that his son was talking in a harsh tone of as if he had grown up and become wise. The phrase grown up wise shows that poet was angry with his son. The following line describes why he was angry. His son disobeyed him for the seventh time. He was teasing. He thought the boy might have become the wise, not the impact of this his word and his rudeness. So he rebuked him and refused to kiss him before going to sleep. The poet uses the term struck to reflect the impact of his words and his rudeness on his son's mind. So he sent him without kissing. It means that he daily used to kiss his son. He probably did not beat his son, but his words had struck his son hurt. Besides, the child's mother had died, so there was none to comfort him except his father, the poet. Yes, his mother was patient and he was no more. So the next stanza. Then, fearing lest his grief should hinder sleep, I visited his bed, but found him slumbering deep, with darkened eyelids and their lashes yet from his late sobering wet. Yes, in the line number 7 to 11, the poet began aware of the fact that he had treated his son harshly, feared that his son could not sleep because of the pain he inflicted on his heart. So he went to his room and found that he was already asleep. He was in deep sleep, his eyes and become dark from sobbing, and his eyelashes were still wet. The image of his son evoked a sense of guilt in the poet's heart. So, in this stanza, basically, the poet is giving the message that if we are going to do something wrong, then we should repent. We shouldn't say that it's okay. Basically, that's it routine, our daily life routine. If we do something wrong, we never realize that we have done wrong. So he is realizing that he has done something wrong to his son, and maybe his son will not sleep. And line number 11, 12 to 21. And I with mourn, kissing away his tears. And I with mourn, kissing away his tears, left others of my own. For on a table, drawn beside his head, he had put within his reach a box of counters and a red wine stone. Yes, the darkened eyelids of the boy made the poet sad when he was there and he was realizing that he has done something wrong. Tears come to his eyes. He kissed his son's cheek to clean the tears but left his own on his face. In this way, the poet describes the softer side of his heart. He realized that it was wrong for him to treat his son harshly. The realization of his mistake made him return the kiss he earlier refused to give. Yes, so now he was going to kiss because the earlier things went wrong and he refused to kiss. The poet saw that there was a table near his bed. He had put his ties on the table. There was a box of counters, a red wine stone, a piece of a braided glass, some shells, a bottle with bluebell flowers, and two French copper coins. Everything was arranged carefully. It showed how valuable the toys were to the boys. These things were not precious, but for the boy, they were priceless. Whenever he was sad, he sought solace in his toys. This is why when he went to on the night, he kept them close. The poet describes how children take pleasure in simple things that adults find meaningless. When they were kids, they did the same as grown-ups. They forgot how to cherish simplicity and be content with the less. Hence, they cannot even understand what is less valuable for them is precious for children. Obviously, that is the thing that how elders ignore the things as they have enjoyed the thing in their past. So now the poet is realizing that how the things went wrong and how the children was enjoying with the ties instead of enjoying with the father. So the last stanza. So when that night I prayed to God, I wept and said, Ah, when at last we lie with tranced breath, not vexing thee in death, and thou rememberest of what ties we made our joys, how weakly understood, the great commended good. Then fatherly not less than I whom thou hast molded from the clay, though the leave, the word, and the say, I will be sorry for the childish. Yes, in the last stanza of the poem, the poet describes the impact of incident on his mind. He wept for his mistake and prayed to God for his forgiveness. Just as he punished the children for his little misdoings, God can undoubtedly punish the poet for his many wrongdoings, but he does not do it. Actually, in the start, I have said that how the poet is associated with the religion. So that is the thing. Why he is going to refer the things towards God. He forgives instead. That is the fatherly attitude of God to man. Once the poet has wept for his child, he remembers God's tenderness and kindness. The poet repents that he had never been as good as father to his child as God has been to him. God has molded man from the clay in his own image. Even then, man has not understood the goodness of God. When the man at last lies with the tense breath in his death bed, not trembling God anymore, he still does not wish to punish him. Such good God is. So, when the poet wept and prayed that night, he prayed to God to leave aside his anger and forgive him for his childness and unkindness to his child. Yes, this is basically a lesson that how we usually ignore the things, how we usually done the things wrong. And basically the thing is that if we are going to realize the thing, it means we are on the right way, we are on the uh, right path. But the thing is that dear students, in these days, how we ignore the things, how we don't admit the things, how we are going to be selfish. Basically the thing is that individuality is bad. When we are going to say that this is the right thing, then how the things can be done right? Basically that is the thing, and that is the problem in our society. And in individual, that is the problem. We are saying that how the society will be changed. No, society will be changed later. First of all, we have to change individuals. So inshallah, dear students, in the next lecture we'll do with the exercise, and we'll do the remaining part of this point, as well as the yes, something is there, we'll discuss inshallah on the next class. Thank you.